My name's Evan. I'm 29. And the night my parents skipped my important event for my brother's football game, they didn't know they were choosing a stadium over my wedding. I work in product for a mid-sized tech company in Milwaukee. Clean desk. Color-coded calendar. My fiancé, now my wife Elena, shoots weddings on weekends and edits at our kitchen table, with coffee that could strip paint. We live in a third-floor walk-up where the hallway smells like laundry detergent and old carpet. For as long as I can remember, the home has been effort and lists and showing up. My parents' house is different. My mom, Laura, collects trophies that aren't hers. My brother, Tyler, is the golden child. And every wall in the den proves it jerseys and glass. A collage of mid-air catches. A plaque from a booster club with his name engraved, twice, because someone messed up the first one. In their fridge, there are 5 kinds of mustard. Lined like soldiers. Because Dad swears each has a purpose. That's the thing about their house. Everything has a purpose if it serves Tyler. I wasn't always the background character. In grade school, my art projects hung on the fridge next to grocery lists. Then Tyler arrived and the fridge became a schedule. Practice. Weights. Film. Don't be so dramatic. Mom would say whenever I tried to explain how it felt. He needs this more than you do. I told myself it didn't matter. But you can only swallow so much before your throat stays tight. The pattern showed up in receipts and dates. When the roof leaked in my senior year of high school, Mom said the $9. $800. My grandparents left me for college, went to repairs. I believed her because believing hurts less. 2 years later, I saw a bank statement on the kitchen printer ACH, withdrawal $4. 500 next-gen QB camp, 6/12. There was also cashier's check $3. 200, Tyler M. Down payment. When I asked, Mom didn't blink. Family helps family. Evan. Dad stared at his plate like the peas were a map out of the conversation. Incident 2 freshman year. My university invited me to present a project at a regional showcase. Long weekend. Free hotel. I sent them the link. Mom replied with a thumbs up and added, "Thank you. Has an away game in Ohio the same weekend. So proud, they drove 312 miles to watch him stand on the sideline." I collected a certificate in a ballroom and took a photo with a stranger, so I had something to text back. Maybe next time. Dad wrote, "Schedules are crazy." I saved the message and then deleted it because it felt like storing a mosquito in a jar. Incident 3, the first apartment I tried to rent after graduation. The landlord wanted a co-signer. I asked my parents for their signatures. "Not money. We can't risk our credit," Dad said. Voice thin. 2 months later, Tyler got a brand new Civic with the dealership bow still on it. I found the photo on Mom's Facebook. Caption: "He deserves it." The monthly payment on the contract, $387, was visible because Dad had tucked the paperwork under the visor and the sun hit it just right. I should have known. Right. But hope is a muscle. And mine was overtrained. Elena met them early on. She grew up with parents who brought folding chairs to every school thing. Even the ones with bad fluorescent lighting. Watching that used to make me feel like I'd bought a ticket to a show other people were born into. Elena saw my family dynamic in 10 minutes. "You're the steady one," she said. "They use you as a baseline and crank his volume." She said it gently. Like a diagnosis. The trigger wasn't one big scene. It was 1,000 small ones pressed into a single decision. We picked a wedding date that worked with Elena's shooting schedule and her aunt's backyard Saturday. September 23rd. String lights already strung in the maple trees. A rented arch. Elena's aunt gave us the space for free if we covered the caterer and chairs. I'm good with logistics. So I built a checklist. Deposits. Seating chart. Backup plan for rain. At the top, I wrote, "Tell my parents the date. Let them ask the rest." My text to the family group chat read, "Heads up. I have an important event on 9/23. It's locked. Would love you there." I sent it at 8:12 a.m. on July 1st. Read receipts popped for Dad and Mom within 5 minutes. Tyler didn't open it for 4 hours. at 1:23:6 p.m. Mom replied, "That's Thank You's last home game before playoffs. We'll be there supporting him." No question mark. No, what is it? Just exclamation points and a photo of a flyer for senior night. The flyer had a gold star over Tyler's number. I typed, "It can't move." I didn't type, "It's my wedding." That was my first decision. Not because I wanted to trick them, but because I wanted to measure something if I remove the spoon feeding and make them turn their heads. Do they look at me at all? Dad texted separately at 5:02 p.m. "Proud of you, son. Hope your thing goes well. Timing is tough." I stared at the words, "your thing," until the screen dimmed. Elena looked over my shoulder. "You want to tell them?" she asked. "If they cared, they'd ask," I said, and heard how brittle I sounded. We left it there. We had place cards to cut and a photographer to hire who wasn't my wife. Breadcrumbs started stacking. On August 6th, Tyler posted a video him sprinting in slow motion while someone yelled. Future Mom commented 3 red hearts and a whistle emoji. That same day, I sent a calendar invite titled "Evan Important Event" to both parents. Attached directions to Elena's aunt's property, a parking map I made in Canva, and a note attire is semi-formal. No reply. On August 15th, Aunt Denise asked, "Do you want me to loop your folks about the caterer count?" I said no. If they asked, I'd tell them everything. They didn't. There were quiet kindnesses that kept my spine straight. Grandpa Walter called every Sunday at 5. He's 79. Stubborn in the way of men who survived winters without salt trucks. He writes notes on an actual paper calendar, different ink colors for different kids. When I told him I'd propose to Elena, simple ring. Hands shaking. Her yes. Before the sentence finished, he said, "I'll wear my good suit. Haven't had it out since your grandmother's service. It'll want happy air." He circled September 23rd in blue, underlining twice. "You invite your parents?" he asked. I did, I said. He hummed like a kettle starting to sing. "Then let's see what they do when no one tells them where to look." 2 weeks before the date, I tried one more nudge. I texted Mom, "We'll have a photo area. If you come, I bring any old family pictures you want to add." She replied with a selfie from the bleachers and kickoff followed by a football emoji. I put my phone face down and kept folding napkins into the little pockets Elena had seen on Pinterest. Folding helps. It's proof that hands can make order. The night before the ceremony, Elena and I slept at her aunt's place. We strung more lights, checked outlets, taped down cords so no one would trip. The backyard smelled like cut grass and roasted garlic from the caterer's test pans. It wasn't a ballroom. It was better. It felt exactly our size. I should have seen it coming when I found myself checking my phone under the table. Not for congratulations, but for a question that never arrived. September 23rd. Noon. The sky held. Elena's cousins ran plates. My college friends flew in and brought smart shoes falsely advertised as comfortable. Grandpa Walter walked through the gate in his good suit and a tie that didn't match. He hugged me so hard my jaw clicked. "I brought your grandmother's locket," he said, pressing a tiny box into my palm. Inside was a gold oval with a scratch across the center like a comet. "She wanted this for the child who keeps showing up." "That's you." He didn't whisper it. He said it like a fact the wind could carry. We started at 2. Elena's dad walked her down the aisle. I met them halfway. Our friend Sloane officiated with a voice that made the cicadas sound like applause. The vows were short. Elena's hand shook. Mine did, too. When Sloane said, "I now pronounce," the crowd cheered, and someone popped a confetti cannon that shot stars into the maple leaves. A kid named Henry ate 2 cupcakes and got frosting on his vest. I laughed for real. During photos, Aunt Denise asked if she could post a few. "Just 2 or 3, she said. "You okay with that?" I was. She took a shot of Grandpa's toast. His hand on my shoulder. His eyes wet. She took one of Elena and me under the arch. She asked, "Do you want me to tag your mother?" I said. "Tag me and Elena." Mom can find it if she looks. Dinner was pulled pork, baked sidey, a salad that made the vegans happy and the carnivores suspicious. We paid with our own savings. No co-signers. No loans. The DJ played a song Elena loved in college. We danced under lights we'd hung ourselves. When the night ended, we loaded mason jars into boxes and stacked chairs. My phone buzzed face down on the bar. I didn't flip it. If the earth was going to tilt, it could do it in the morning. On the drive home, Elena fell asleep with her hairpins still in. I kept my eyes on the road and thought about how quiet the car was when no one in it needed to be amazed. I didn't know that by sunrise our town would be holding a vote in a comment section. Or that my dad's first honest sentence to me would be spoken in a diner with chipped mugs. Or that one choice mine, to stop explaining, would pull the threads so fast we'd watch the whole sweater come apart. We didn't leave town. No honeymoon yet. Sunday morning I made coffee, pulled 2 hairpins from Elena's bun, and finally turned my phone on. It choked. Buzz, 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 until the screen froze and then lit again. 76 missed calls. 143 texts. A red dot on Facebook that said 99 plus. The first message at the top was from Mom. 712A. M. How could you ambush us like this? Second. 713A. M. Delete those photos. Call your aunt and tell her to take them down. Third. All caps, you humiliated US. I scrolled. At 726A. M. Mom again. You never said wedding. You said event. Then. 729A. M. This is tearing our family apart. At 742A. M. If you don't fix this, I don't expect us at the holidays. Dad had sent one voicemail at 658A. M. The transcript preview read, Evan, I'm sorry. I let it play on speaker. His voice was smaller than I'd ever heard it. I should have asked. I should have been there. I don't know how to fix this, but I want to try. Call me. Please. No background TV. No clink of a coffee cup. Just breath. Elena opened her laptop and set it aside without turning it on. Do you want to go dark again, she asked. Or do you want to know all of it my stomach chose for me? All of it. I said. Aunt Denise had posted 3 photos at 8:41 p.m. the night before. Caption: beautiful backyard vows for Evan and Elena. Some folks chose other priorities, but those who came made it perfect. Under that, a ripple of comments. Wait. Where were his parents? Is this the Evan who won the engineering showcase? They skipped that too. Not our business. But that's cold. Mom. 1103 p.m. We were misled. Denise replied. You were invited. You didn't ask. A former neighbor, Laura. You've posted 12 videos of Tyler's warm-ups and none of your older son's milestones. That's noticeable. By midnight, the post had been shared into a local city moms group and the alumni page for my high school. 28 shares. Which is the small-town version of a siren. Someone tagged the booster club. Someone else tagged the church page. When I clicked, the page timed out like the internet itself. Didn't want me in that mess. Tyler's name lit up next. 1214A. M. Real classy. Enjoy your pity party. 1215A. M. You made Mom cry all night. 1217A. M. We had a scout at the game. People were asking me about your drama in the locker room. Then at 1219A. M. A voice memo, 31 seconds of him pacing and breathing hard. You think you hurt us? You hurt my season. He didn't respond. My whole life has taught me that replying feeds the fire and also somehow becomes the fire's fault. I put the phone down. Picked it up again. Scrolled farther back than I needed. A message from Grandpa Walter. Timestamped Nea Tuas 22. M. Sent while we were stacking chairs. Proud of you? Good night. Tell Elena, the garlic was too good. He added a blurry photo of his tie folded on a chair. The gold locket caught a string of light. I saved that one. By noon, Aunt Denise called. Hey, she said. Soft. Didn't think it would blow like this. I can edit the caption. Don't, I said. You sure? They'll be mad either way. I said. At least this way, the facts are standing. Then came the second wave. Mom's sisters. 2 cousins I haven't seen in 3 years. A woman from church who still signs her comments blessings. Jan. Most of them use the same script, probably a group chat somewhere doing the choreography. Your mother is shattered. How could you put this online? Delete the post and apologize publicly. Family issues are private. Private. Like the bank statement that wasn't. Private. Like the day they drove 312 miles to watch Tyler stand on a sideline while I clicked a PowerPoint and accepted a certificate. Private. Like a Civic, with a bow, the exact color of mustard number 3. At 1:07 p.m. Dad texted, "Can we meet just us?" He didn't include Mom in the message. He didn't include Tyler. "I'll drive," he added. Like logistics would smooth the edge. Elena watched my face. What he wants to meet, I said. Do you? I nodded before I knew. I want to hear him say it when I can see his eyes. Obstacle 1 showed up, in a way I didn't expect. Elena's business page pinged. A stranger left a 1-star review. Wouldn't trust a photographer who weaponizes privacy to hurt her in-laws. It read, "Another bride's beware drama magnet." The names were fake. The grammar matched the way my mom types when she's rushing. I clicked the profiles. New accounts. No photos. Elena exhaled a laugh. That wasn't a laugh. They're trying to punish me through my work, she said. She clicked report and then closed the laptop gently, like it held a sleeping animal. I felt something sharp and familiar. Not anger. Not yet. A straightening. The list maker in me stood up. I opened notes and wrote, "Screenshot reviews, W divided by timestamps. Save Mom's messages. Save Tyler's voice memo. Don't respond. Meet Dad in public place. Set terms." I added terms because I knew what always happens. I get pulled onto their field and then get told I should be grateful I was invited to play. Ding? Mom again, I'm coming over. We'll talk this out in person. Another, don't shut me out. I am your mother. Then, if you don't answer, I'll have no choice but to show up. Elena rubbed my shoulder. Do you want company if she does? I want a lock. I said. We don't have a doorman. We do have a chain. I slid it. At 2:11 p.m. The building's Ring camera pinged our email, motion at door. A still image, a familiar haircut outside. Hand on the buzzer. We didn't buzz her in. I watched through the peephole while my own breath fogged the brass. Mom knocked twice. Then again. Louder. Evan. She called through the door. Voice tight. This is ridiculous. She stayed 5 minutes. Slid an envelope under the door. Walked away with her shoulders up around her ears. I waited 10 more before I picked up the envelope. Inside was a printed screenshot of Aunt Denise's post with a yellow highlighter across the line. Some folks chose other priorities. On the back, Mom had written, I have always prioritized family. The word always was underlined 3 times. Elena read it. Put it back in the envelope. This will end up in a scrapbook one day. She said. The chapter called Evidence, We Were Not Crazy. My phone lit again. Dad Diner on Highway 41. 3 o'clock corner booth. I'll be there early. Me, okay. I showered. Changed my shirt. Picked one without confetti baked into the cuff. On the way out, I touched the locket on the dresser because it had started to feel like a permission slip. The diner was half empty. Flags of old college teams hung crooked above the counter. A waitress with a pen behind her ear poured coffee like she didn't trust gravity. Dad sat in a booth by the window. Hands wrapped around his mug like it was the only warm thing. He looked up when the bell over the door clanged. He stood, but didn't step forward. I slid into the seat across from him. Up close. He looked older. The kind of older that arrives quick. A new fold at the corner of his mouth. Gray I'd never noticed before. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Tried again. I deserve most of this, he said. The words didn't wobble. They landed. I didn't say anything yet. I wanted to hear the rest before deciding if I believed any of it. He took a breath like a swimmer and held on. The waitress came by with a pot. Top you off, she asked me. I nodded. The coffee tasted like burned toast. It helped. Dad put his phone face down. Your mother thinks she's fighting a fire, he said. She doesn't see she poured the gasoline. He swallowed. I let her. That's on me. He looked at the window. Then back at me. Tell me where to start. I could feel 1,000 old scenes trying to flood the booth the day of the scholarship form. The away game road trip. The Civic bow reflecting mustard yellow sun. I kept them behind my teeth. Start with you, I said. Not her. He nodded. His hands trembled against the mug. Okay, he said. Almost to himself. Okay. I didn't know then how far he'd go or if he'd stay gone when it got hard. But for the first time, I had something other than silence to measure. And sometimes the smallest honest sentence can feel like a door unlatching. He started with numbers. I can't undo the fund, Dad said. But I can pay you back. I'll set a transfer every month. 50 at least. More when I can. He slid a folded paper across the table. It was a printout from his bank app. He'd labeled a new recurring transfer, Evan College Payback. First one, set for the 1st of next month. 50 yuan. Ling ling. It was small and also huge. Money isn't all of it, I said. I know. He took a breath. I'll call the booster moms to leave Elena alone. And I'll post under your aunt's photos. Real words. Not misunderstanding. I'll say I failed. 2 more, I said. Therapy. And boundaries. No showing up. No surprise visits. No involving Elena's work ever again. He nodded. Done. The waitress slid a check between us. Dad grabbed it. He paid cash and left the receipt. Timestamp 344p. M. Diner Hasson 7. Corner booth. I folded it into my wallet like it might matter later. At 4:02 p.m. As I drove home. Me phone pinged. Screenshot from Aunt Denise's dad had commented on her post. Families are complicated. We all made mistakes here. Proud of both my sons. I pulled into a parking lot and sat there with the engine ticking. I called him. He answered on the first ring. That's not what we agreed, I said. I thought if I softened it. Your mother. Dad. You just gave them a headline. Evan admits he misled us. N-dubber. Silence. Then. You're right. I'm sorry. I heard paper shuffle. I'll write another. He did. 3 minutes later. A second comment. Blunt. Under his first correction, I failed Evan. I chose silence. He invited us. We didn't ask. That's on me. He left it there. No emojis. No balance. It looked like a fence post in a storm. The replies shifted. People who'd tiptoed before stopped tiptoeing. Respect for owning it. Mark. This is how you do accountability. Laura. Your move. Mom posted at 5:11 p.m. on her own page instead. 4 paragraphs. A photo of Tyler in uniform on top. As a mother, my heart has been broken by misinformation. She wrote, we were not told it was a wedding. We are being attacked by people who don't know us. We have always prioritized family. She attached a cropped screenshot of my July text. Heads up, I have an important event on 9/23. She'd cut off the calendar invite attachment icon. No map. No semiformao. Just my vagueness. Magnified. I replied with my own screenshot. No caption. Just the full text thread. The calendar invite. The PDF, with directions. The line that said, attire semi-formal. Dime stumps. Read receipts. I posted it once on my page, and then didn't touch my phone. If evidence is a language, I wanted it to speak without me translating. Elena pulled a sheet pan of leftover ziti from the fridge. We ate at the counter in quiet. At 6:18 p.m. My notifications blinked in batches. People defending us. A former teacher, I judged your engineering showcase. Your parents didn't come. They had a choice. A neighbor, Laura. You asked me to share Tyler's fundraising link 5 times but didn't know your elder son's wedding date. Tu l'as DM'd à 6:00 p.m. You're making mom look insane. Me screenshots do that by themselves. He sent a photo of the scoreboard from last night, 21-17 bait. Loss. Nice wedding present. Then a middle finger emoji. Then a scout left early because of your drama. He attached a blurry image of a man in a polo walking up bleachers. The timestamp read 9:11 p.m. 20 minutes after our vows. He probably thought it proved a point. To me, it looked like cause and effect had finally stopped running in his favor. Elena's business page lit again. More 1-star bombs. Then a flip. A woman I didn't know wrote, I don't know this couple, but I know mobbing when I see it. 5 stars. Book Elena. People who show up to their own lives take beautiful photos. Others followed. Brides messaged to say they'd seen the drama and wanted to support someone who set boundaries. Elena stared at the screen like it had grown wings. They tried to smear me, she said. It backfired. Temporary punchline, number 1. Dad texted me a photo at 7:03 p.m. A screenshot of a group chat named Booster's Senior Night. Mom's message at the top, everyone please report Elena's page. Dad's reply beneath it. Timestamped a minute later, stop. This ends now. If you attack her business again, I'm done. I have said it publicly, and I will say it here, I failed Evan. A woman named Kathy Snacks replied with a thumbs down. Another typed, stay out of this. Mark. He replied. No. He forwarded me a second image, a payment confirmation for a Yelp advertising campaign he had canceled. He'd been paying for Tyler's highlight reel ad since June. Cancelled. The big red stamp said. He added a text, small step. I believed him a little. At 8:22 p.m. In the local blog posted an article, Small Town Storm Parents Skip Son's Wedding for Friday Night Lights. They blurred our names. But the comments didn't. People argued like a pot about to boil over. I didn't read past the first 10. I had a rule now, 3 screens of anything. Then stop. The human body wasn't made to swallow an entire town's opinion. The door buzzer startled both of us. I checked the peephole. Tyler. Hoodie up. Jaw locked. I didn't open. I spoke through the wood. Not today. He leaned close to the peephole. You're not brave enough to say it to my face. I said it at the park last week. I said. And yesterday. And in every year you pretended I was a stool for your throne. Silence. Then a thud against the door. He wasn't kicking. He was resting his head there like a tired kid. They're talking about me in the locker room, he said. Voice muffled. About you. The scout thing. Coach said I need to control narratives. I run routes. I don't run PR. I waited. The hallway hummed. Our downstairs neighbor's TV bled a laugh track through plaster. I didn't ask to be the favorite, he said. You enjoyed it, I said. And you weaponized it. Another quiet. Then, are we ever going to be okay? Depends what you do next. I said. Start by telling Mom to stop attacking Elena. And stop playing the victim when I show receipts. He didn't answer. After a beat, his footsteps faded. The stairwell door clicked. Elena exhaled. I hate that I feel bad for him, she said. Me too, I said. It's a habit. I cleaned the counter. Habit again. Rows of jars lined on the shelf above the stove olive oil. Rice. Sugar. Order in reach. The word always from Mom's note caught in my head like a hangnail. I pulled the envelope back out of the drawer. The printed screenshot was still inside. Another paper stuck to it. I hadn't noticed before because the corners were static welded. It was an email thread. Subject line, Re-roof repair, 2012. The sender was Dad. The recipient, a contractor. The dates matched my senior year. The first email, thanks for the estimate. We decided not to proceed. Bug it tight. We'll patch ourselves. The contractor replied, no permit was filed, just confirming you're not moving forward. Dad again, correct. Attached were 2 photos of a ceiling stain and a roll of plastic. No invoice. No payment. I stared at the dates. June try. June sept. 10 years ago. My stomach did that elevator drop thing. I flipped the page. At the bottom of the thread, there was a forward. From Mom to Dad. Last week. 9:31 p.m. Delete this. Why is it still in archives? Dad had printed it instead. I called him. He picked up on the first ring. You left an email in the envelope. I said. My voice sounded even to my own ears. So the roof. We didn't spend it on repairs. He said. He didn't rush. He didn't soften. We used your grandparents' money for Tyler's first car and the QB camp. All of it. I know. I said. I guessed. I lied to you. He said. For years. The words didn't wobble either. I need you to have the paper. Not just the memory. That was the second escalation. Not public. Not loud. A proof lodged like a pebble in a shoe. Impossible to ignore. Elena laid her hand on the counter. Palm up. I put the email on top of it like a rock we both needed to carry. My phone pinged again. A private number. No message. Just a photo of a PDF. Subject line at the top, Midwest Elite Sports Agency Retainer Agreement. Amount due $5. Ling ling ling. Date August 28. Payer Mark and Laura Mercer. Memo Retainer for Tyler Season Representation. At the bottom, a note in a different font. Source of funds, family savings remaining. Who sent that? Elena asked. I checked the number. Unknown. The image had a faint gray note at the top, forwarded from Walter. Gmail. Grandpa. Or someone using his account. I didn't open the next photo yet. I could feel the story inside it, tightening. Like a knot pulled from both ends. I opened the next photo. Not a meme. A scan. Midwest Elite Sports Agency Retainer Agreement. Amount $5. Ling ling ling. Date August 28. Payer Mark and Laura Mercer. Memo Retainer for Tyler Season Representation. At the bottom, a typed note. Source of funds, family savings remaining. My name wasn't anywhere. It didn't need to be. A second image followed. Lined paper. Mom's handwriting. The looped L I've seen on permission slips and Christmas tags. Title at the top. Talking points if asked. Bullets. He didn't tell us wedding. We have always supported Bath sons. Avon is private. Elena manipulates. Say roof repairs used his college fund. Don't mention camp. Ask Kathy to report Elena's page. Change narrative. This is about football. At the bottom, a post-it pastor prayer request Sunday keep vague. My phone buzzed again, forwarded from Walter. Gmail. Grandpa. He'd found the list or made my dad hand it over. Either way, I had it. Paper. Dates. Ink. Not just feelings. I called Grandpa. He answered with that soft gravel in his voice. You see it? He asked. I did. I told your father honesty's no use without evidence. He said. He gave me what he had. I took pictures. Paper disappears in that house. Phones accidentally factory reset. Now you've got copies. You trust him? I asked. I trust a man more when he prints the thing that makes him look small. He said. Your dad printed the roof emails. He knows exactly what he did. He's trying to stand up on legs that forgot how. We were quiet a beat. He said, I'm hosting Sunday. 4 o'clock. You. Elena. Your father. Your mother, if she can keep her voice. Tyler, if he can keep his hands open. Bring your proof. Bring your terms. Terms. I repeated. Like a new word. I wanted my mouth to learn. And Evan. He added. I told your father this, and I'll tell you if she keeps attacking your wife's livelihood. I'll help him peck. I don't say that lightly. It wasn't a threat. It was a man drawing a line you could measure. I hung up and started building. The list maker in me was good for something. I created a cloud folder named Maple Lights. Subfolders money. Messages. Smear. Timeline. I saved everything with dates in the file names. 201200607, roof emails. PDF. 202-30701, text invite. PNG. Totusene a 302 Denise Post. JPEG. 202300924, booster chat. PNG. 202300828, agency retainer. PDF. I took screenshots of the fake reviews with usernames and timestamps. I exported the voicemail from Dad and the voice memo from Tyler. I wrote a one-page timeline. Left aligned. No adjectives. Elena printed each page and slid it into a sleeve. She hummed nothing in particular. The printer smell mixed with coffee and garlic from last night. She had ink on her thumb. She held the roof email up to the kitchen light like checking an X-ray. There's air in my chest again, she said quietly. That's what proof does. I found a mustard yellow binder at the drugstore for $6. 99. Thick. With pockets. It felt right. In a petty way I didn't apologize for. I labeled the tabs with a Sharpie. Money. Messages. Smear. Timeline. Terms. I tucked Grandpa's locket into the zip pouch. The binder made a soft shush when it closed. Like a book that knows the ending already. Then I wrote the terms. Clean. No poetry. Cease and desist on any interference with Elena's business. Public and private. Remove fake reviews. Apologize to clients who got DMs. Public apology on Mom's page and the booster group. Not misunderstanding. Specific Evan invited us. We chose Tyler's game. That was wrong. Pinned for 30 days. Counseling proof of attendance. Not details. 6 sessions minimum. Repayment plan for the grandparents' funds not because I need the money, but because returning it is part of naming it. Boundaries, no surprise visits. No group chat pylons. No triangulating through Aunt Denise or blessings. Jan. A moratorium on my wedding divided by post images used in any argument. My life is not a prop. I added a 7th item after staring at the list for a long time. 7. Stop framing Tyler's future as a family emergency. I must fund. Defend. Or absorb. I sent the terms to a friend from work. Priya, who used to do small business law before she got bored and taught herself. Sequel. I asked her for a simple letterhead and a sentence I could live with. She called. You want a real C&D? She asked. I want something that makes people stop pressing buttons. I said, I'll draft a letter. She said, you can send it or just show it. Her email arrived 15 minutes later. 2 paragraphs. Calm. This letter serves as formal notice to cease any actions intended to interfere with. It named Elena's business. Listed the review bombing. Attached screenshots as exhibits. 52 lines of legal bones. I printed it and slid it under smear. At 9:03 p.m. Pastor texted. Number I hadn't seen in years. Heard there's family tension. He wrote, your mother asked for a prayer request tomorrow. May I share? I stared at the screen. Elena watched my face. No. I wrote back. That's not prayer, that's PR. He replied. Understood. Then, after a moment, I am sorry. Son. The word son landed funny. He lit it. While we worked. My phone kept blinking. A booster mom left a voicemail. "You need to stop harming our community with your personal drama," she said, breathy like she'd jogged to indignation. "Tyler is our future." I saved the audio. Another review hit Elena's page 1 star. Then deleted as fast as it went up. I took a screenshot mid-vanish. The file name ended with hike. I converted it to PNG so it would stick. The last ping of the night came from Dad. A photo of a suitcase by the front door at their house. Read. Scuffed. His text, I told her I'm staying at Uncle Jim's until Sunday. This has to change. He didn't use the word divorce. He didn't have to. The suitcase said it for him. Sleep was shallow. At 2:11 a.m. I woke to the building settling and thought it was footsteps outside our door. I went to the kitchen. The binder sat on the table. Elena had tucked a pen into the rings. She'd added a sticky note to the front cover. "You're not doing this to win a comment section. You're doing it to make a life better." I left it there because sometimes the best plan is a sentence you can hold. Sunday. We drove to Grandpa's. The sky was the color of the inside of a spoon. On the way, I stopped at a gas station for air in a low tire. The air pump screen was cracked. The numbers froze. Then jumped. Then froze again. A kid in a Letterman jacket held the door open for a woman with a case of water. Little scenes kept happening while mine tried to get louder. It felt important to notice them. Grandpa's house sits on a corner where the sidewalks crack into clover. He keeps that paper calendar on the fridge, with colored pens stuck in a mug. When we walked in, he pointed at the mug. "Green for medical," he said. "Blue for family. Red for emergencies. Sunday's written in blue and underlined." He tapped the blue. "Stays blue if everyone behaves." He'd set out 4 chairs around the dining table and one along the wall like a timeout. "Coffee. Water. No cookies. People tell the truth better without sugar," he said. Dad arrived first. "Na suitcase. Just a folder and eyes that looked like he'd slept next to a decision." He shook my hand like we were new. "Thank you for coming," he said to Elena. She nodded, but didn't offer him a hug. Boundaries can be visible without being cruel. Mum came 5 minutes later. Happy Ned. Makeup layered on a face that hadn't slept. She stopped short when she saw the binder. "What is that?" she asked. "Fax," I said. Tyler slid in last. Hood up again. Eyes down. He sat on the chair by the wall like he'd been assigned it by a teacher who knew his tells. Grandpa didn't open with prayer. He opened with the calendar. "This is blue," he said, pointing. "It only goes red if people raise voices. Talk over others. Or use a phone to tell a story instead of a mouth." Mom inhaled to argue with the premise. Grandpa lifted a finger. "Blue," he said. She shut her mouth. The room found its shape. I placed the binder in the center. Open to timeline. July 1. I read. I sent a text. "Heads up, I have an important event on 9/23. It's locked. Would love you there." I slid the printed thread forward. Same day. I sent a calendar invite. It included directions. Attire. A map. I slid that page. Response from Mom. "That's Thank You's last home game. We'll be there supporting him." No question. Mom looked at Dad. Then at me. "You wanted us to beg you," she said. "You set a trap." "I wanted you to care enough to ask," I said. "I didn't get cute. I gave you a date. You chose a different one, like I wasn't real." Grandpa nodded at the binder. Next. I went to money. Roof emails. The agency retainer. The car down payment note. Dad didn't flinch. Mom did. She reached for the papers. I kept a hand on them. "You can read them," I said. "You can't take them." She skimmed the roof email thread. Her jaw tightened. "We patched it ourselves," she said weakly. "With plastic," Dad said. "And lies." Tyler spoke from the wall. "Everyone uses money how they see fit," he muttered. "That was my grandparents' money. I said. Not a booster fund. Not a team slush. Mine. Meant for school. You turned it into your summer. Silence. The kind that empties a room of the air you thought you owned. I turned to Smear. The booster chat screenshot. The 1-star bombs. Priya's letter. I slid the letter forward. This is what I send, if those reviews don't come down. I said. I'll file if it touches her bookings again. This isn't a threat. It's a boundary. Mom's face crumpled. Then hardened. Then crumpled again. I didn't tell them to do anything illegal. She said. You told them to attack her page. I said. I have your words. Grandpa cleared his throat. Enough defense. What are your terms? Evan. I read them without commentary. Each one. Calm. My voice didn't shake. When I finished, I slid the pen from the rings and set it on the table. Dad reached first. I'll sign, he said. Every line. He didn't look at Mom or Tyler when he said it. He looked at me. He signed his name like it belonged there. Mom didn't touch the pen. A public apology, she said. Eyes wide, like I'd asked for a kidney. Pinned. 30 days. I said. Because you pinned Tyler's highlight reel for 3 months. Tyler hunched deeper into the chair against the wall. I'm not apologizing, he said. I didn't do anything. I turned the binder toward him. Pointed at my timeline. You did a lot, I said. And for once, there's a film session that isn't cut to make you look heroic. He looked at Grandpa like he wanted a flag on the play. Grandpa just tapped the blue underline on the calendar. Eyes on the paper. He said. No one moved. The pen waited. The locket in my pocket felt warm. As if body heat could turn metal into a vote. I could feel the house holding its breath. Wood and drywall and old clocks, all waiting to hear which way a family would tip. I slid the pen a few inches closer to the person who still hadn't decided who she loved more. The trophy wall or the son who stopped narrating his need. Mom didn't take the pen. She folded her arms. I won't be bullied by paperwork. It's not bullying, I said. It's a map. It gets us out of the swamp. She stared at the terms tab like it had teeth. A public apology, pinned you want me paraded. I want the truth parked, where you hid the lies. I said. Tyler pushed off the wall. You're enjoying this, he said. You always wanted to make us look bad. I slid the booster chat printout toward him. You did that yourself. His jaw worked. He tapped the paper with a fingernail. Kathy's an idiot. That wasn't Mom. I turned the talking points list so he could see the loops of her L's. He went quiet. Grandpa tapped the calendar with a blue pen. We're still blue, he said. Stay there. Dad reached forward. Laura, he said. Voice low. Sign number 1 and 2. This isn't about shame. It's about stopping harm. Harm, she laughed. Small and dry. Your son hid his wedding. You hid your priorities, I said. I stopped translating. She looked at me hard. You wanted me to fail, she said. So you could be the martyr. The word slid across the table like a blade. Elena's chair scraped softly. She leaned forward. Hands flat. No one wants this, she said. We want peace that isn't purchased with my silence. Mom flinched. Don't talk to me like blue. Grandpa warned. And didn't raise his voice. Dad stood. I brought something, he said. He went to the door. We heard the trunk bump open. He came back with a banker's box. He set it on the table. Wrote house papers in Sharpie on the side. The lid creaked. Inside manila folders, a CD certificate in my grandparents' names. Payable on death, Evan Mercer. Original amount, $10. Ling ling ling. Opened 2010. Maturity date, 2016. Closed early the 7th of June, 2012. Early withdrawal penalty, $164. Tishri. Deposit slip, to household checking. That month's bank statement. 2 line items highlighted in yellow cashiers. Check $3. 200 Honda Financial and ACH $4. 500 Next Gen QB Camp. Next to them, Dad had written the dates in neat block letters. The numbers made a shape you couldn't argue away. Mom went pale. "Mark," she whispered. "Put that away." "No," he said. He handed me the CD certificate. "Your grandparents wrote your name," he said. "We crossed it out with our want." My throat clicked. I tucked the certificate under money. The binder rings rasped like a zipper pulling shut. Dad pulled another item from the box. A birthday card. Still sealed. My name on the front in Grandpa's thick hand. "Found this behind the dryer," he said. 2014. He slid it to me. I opened it. Inside, "Proud of you." And a 20. Crisp. And a cartoon cake, with too many candles. I put the card under messages. The 20 sat there like a small, loud truth. Mom pinched the bridge of her nose. "This is not a courtroom. It's our table," Grandpa said. "The only judge here is posterity." Tuller shifted. "Coach says not to talk to media," he muttered. "This all makes it worse." "For who?" I asked. "For me?" he said. As if the answer could be anything else. Dad picked up the pen. "I'm signing," he said again. He signed Hasson and #2 and #3 without a pause. His name cutting a groove. He hesitated at #4. "We'll make payments," he said. "I'll move money from the boat fund." He looked at me. "You didn't know about the boat." He smiled without humor. "Neither do I anymore." Mom's head jerked. "You can't just." "I can," he said. "And I am." He signed #5. My shoulders loosened a fraction. He slid the pen toward Mom. She stared at it. "If I sign this, people will think that you did what you did," I said. "Because you did." "You don't talk to me like a son," I asked. "Like someone with a spine." Her eyes shone. But not from grief. From fury, finally realizing it had an edge. "Fine," she said. She snatched the pen. She scrawled her name at Hasson. The ink scratched. She signed #2 with a long, angry line that cut the margins. She pushed the pen back like it burned. I took the paper. "Pinned for 30 days. I said. Specific language. "I'm not writing your script." "You already did," I said, touching the talking points page. She stared at that sheet, like it would jump up and testify. "That was for me," she said. "Private." "You made me a topic," I said. "I made us a record." Grandpa set his finger on #6. "Respect his wedding as his," he said. "No pictures as stilts and arguments." He looked at Tyler. "That includes you." Star. Tyler's jaw shifted. "I never posted his pictures," he said. "You posted May," I said. Over and over. As a punchline. As the desk job, brother. As a shadow under your floodlight. I slid my phone to him. A saved post. His caption from last year, "Some of us chase real goals." He winced like the words had aged badly. Elena stood and walked to the sink. She turned the faucet on and off once. The kitchen filled with a small rush of water. Then silence again. "We need 2 more signatures," she said without turning. #6 and #7. Mom squinted at #7. "Read it twice. Stop framing Tyler's future as a family emergency I must fund. Defend. Or absorb." She read aloud. "That's insulting." "It's true," I said. She looked at Tyler. He looked at the table. She looked at Dad. He didn't look back. She set her jaw. "Fine," she said. She signed #6 and number 7 inches quick jabs. "Happy?" "No," I said. "Relieved?" She pushed the pen to Tyler. He stared at it like it was a fishhook. "Why me?" he asked. Because you're an adult. Grandpa said. Because your thumbs have done damage. Tyler tapped the pen against the table. Clicked it. Clicked it again. I'll sign the smear thing, he said finally, looking at Elena. I didn't tell them to hit your page. But I didn't stop it either. Thank you, she said. Not soft. Not sharp. Balanced. He signed #own and #5 and #6. He stopped at #2. No, he said. I won't apologize publicly. You apologize when you step on a foot. Grandpa said. What do you do when you've been dancing on a neck for years? Tyler's ears flushed red. He shoved the pen back. I said no. The room tilted, blue to the edge of red. Grandpa reached to the fridge, pulled a red pen from the mug, and underlined Sunday on the calendar. One stroke. Now it's red, he said. Because the boy can lift weights but not responsibility. Mom stood. The chair legs squealed. You can't talk to my son like. Sit down, Grandpa said. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. He's a man. If he wants the jersey, he can shoulder the apology. Tyler's fingers curled. He looked at me. What if I don't? He asked. Half challenge. Half plea. Then I go quiet. I said. 1 year. No contact. No holidays. No photos. No loans. The binder becomes a door I close. He swallowed. His eyes flicked to Mom. She nodded. A tiny motion. Like she'd stab any hand that reached for his shoulder. He didn't sign. There it was. The price. I stood. Then I'm done, I said. My voice didn't boom. It didn't need to. Not angrily. Not theatrically. Just done. I slid the signed pages into the binder pockets. I put Dad's bank printout in money. I tucked the CD certificate behind it. I closed the rings. The shush sounded like surf over gravel. Mom followed me to the door. You can't do this, she said. Family is. Not a slogan, I said. Her mouth opened. Closed. She reached for my arm like she could hold the last 10 years and keep them from leaving with me. I pulled back without force. She dropped her hand. At the threshold, Dad spoke. I'll send the first transfer tonight, he said. 50. Then 100 next month. Then more. He looked at Mom. I'll stay at Jim's. He looked at me. I'll see you when you're ready. Therapy first, I said. He nodded. Like a man agreeing to open a door from both sides. Tyler sat back down hard. The chair thumped the wall. You're really going to ghost us, he said. Incredulous. I'm going to rest, I said. There's a difference. I stepped onto the porch. The air tasted like rain and cut grass. A kid biked by in a helmet too big. A dog barked at a squirrel, and then forgot why. Behind me. Porcelain shattered. I turned. Mom had reached for a jar on Grandpa's counter without looking. It slipped. Dijon sprayed across the tile in a yellow starburst. The smell hit sharp. Clean. Ridiculous. The mustard rule. I thought. Without humor, one detail, you'll never forget. She stood in the middle of it. Breath ragged. Hands empty. No one moved to clean it. Not yet. Elena took my hand. We walked to the car. The binder sat heavy on my lap. The locket pressed warm against it. I watched our reflections warble in the windshield as a cloud crossed the sun. And I wondered what a year of quiet would sound like when the first week finally ended. It sounded like nothing at first. No pings. No group chats. No door buzzers. Just the clock over our stove and the heat clanking in the walls like a slow animal. At 9:14 p.m. that night, my bank app buzzed once. Da Wushamayan. 00, Evan College Payback. Memo month uno. I took a screenshot and filed it under money. Small. Solid. At 7:01 the next morning. Mom posted the apology. I didn't ask her to send it. I saw it because Aunt Denise tagged me. White background. Black text. I was invited to my son Evan's wedding. I chose to attend Tyler's game instead. That was wrong. I'm sorry. She pinned it. Commenting turned off. The pin icon sat there. Stubborn. For 30 days. I watched it hold. The booster chat went quiet after that. Kathy Snacks left the group. Dad sent me a photo of the member list with her name missing. No caption. A small exit wound. Yelp removed the fake reviews from Elena's page in waves. Your report #4FOUR8TONA2 has been resolved. The email said. Then #4FOUR844. Then #44902. I printed each confirmation and slid them into Smear. Not because I needed paper, but because the act calmed something feral in me. Dad started therapy on Tuesday at 6. He sent a photo of the appointment card, Dr. Pamela Roth. PhD. Cognitive Behavioral Therapy Families and Men. Session 1. Paid. $35 copay. Session 2. A week later. Session 3. He texted after the third. I learned, keeping the peace is just fear with good manners. He didn't add a joke. He didn't ask for gold stars. He kept going. He stayed at Uncle Jim's spare room a month. You can measure sincerity by how long a man will live with someone else's fishing trophies. He didn't move back. Not then. By week 3. Elena booked 2 brides who wrote the same thing in different words. Saw how you handled it. We want that kind of steadiness at our wedding. She raised her rate by $200 in January. Clients still signed. We bought a used Subaru with enough trunk space for lighting stands and a binder. I did use the binder for one more thing. The trunk scene. If we're naming it. Mid-October. I opened the hatch. Lifted the false floor. And set maple lights into the spare tire well. You're not gone. I told it. You're just not riding shotgun. The lid thumped shut. The car felt lighter. Thanksgiving came. We stayed home. Elena made 2 pies because she couldn't choose between pecan and pumpkin. Grandpa FaceTimed us from his table. He pointed the camera at the blue pen line on the calendar and panned to the red one under the Sunday we'd gone hot. See, he said. Most of the month is still blue. He laughed. It caught in his throat and turned into a cough. He waved us off. Old house lungs. He said. December transfer #4, hit $100. Memo first raise. Dad sent a blurry photo of a Craigslist ad for a used bass boat without the motor. Sold. He wrote. Never liked water anyway. That made me laugh out loud in the cereal aisle. He came to one of Elena's gallery nights and didn't hide in a corner. He stood in front of a photo of a kid's hand inside a father's palm and said, That looks like sin forgiven. I didn't know what to do with the sentence. So I saved it in my head. Next to the locket and the mustard star. Christmas, no tree at Grandpa's. He said he was boycotting sap. And then sent me home with his paper calendar and 3 pens and a rubber band blue. Green. Red. You keep the colors. He said. I'll use a pencil. The kitchen smelled like orange peels and black coffee. He winked at Elena. Send me your new rates. He said. I want to complain and then pay them. January, Mom texted photos of a sign-in sheet from counseling. Her signature. The therapist's stamp. No misunderstanding language anymore. She didn't send paragraphs. Just images. She began typing my name correctly again. Not Ev without vowels. In February, she mailed a card with no return address. Inside, I am learning why I need you to forgive me more than you need me forgiven. The sentence wasn't pretty. It was new. I stayed quiet with Tyler. I blocked his socials and set my email to route anything with his address to an archive named On Hold. He posted highlight clips. Fewer commenters called him Future. In late January, he injured his shoulder and missed 2 games. Coach says rest. A DM from a burner account read. It sounded like him. I didn't reply. In March, Dad asked to meet. Not to talk about your mother. He wrote. Just you. We picked the same diner. He ordered pie for both of us and didn't pretend it solved anything. He said, "My therapist told me apologies are rent. Not a down payment. You keep paying." He slid an envelope over. Inside was a handwritten ledger with dates and amounts. A total at the bottom $1. eBay Woosher. He'd rounded up the last one to make the line straight. "We'll hit 10. He said. "We won't stop if we do." The next day, Elena and I toured a small house on a quiet street where the sidewalk buckled around tree roots. 2 bedrooms. A sliver of yard. An attic with low beams and dust that tasted like books. We made an offer. The inspector found a slow leak under the kitchen sink. I smiled and fixed it with Dad on FaceTime. It dripped 3 times after we tightened the P-trap. He said, "It will drip less next time." In April, the pin on Mom's apology dropped off by itself because 30 days had passed. She didn't take it down early. She didn't replace it with a rumor. She posted a photo of irises coming up through frost and wrote, "Trying again." The likes were quiet, which felt better than applause. Her sisters called less. Blessings. Jan went back to Bible verses and casseroles. I saw Tyler once by accident. Grocery store. Frozen aisle. He held a bag of peas against his shoulder like a visual joke. He looked older. We stood 5 feet apart. Handles of our carts lined like 2 defensive backs, reading a formation. He said, "I got a job at the sporting goods place." He didn't add for now, but it hung there. I said, "That's work." He nodded. He stared at the floor tiles. "I posted something," he said, "on my page." He swallowed. "Not a notes app. A video." I said your name. I said I was the favorite and I broke us. He looked up. I pinned it. I didn't take out my phone. I said, "Thank you," and meant it. And also felt the 1-year clock ticking in my head like a metronome. "We'll talk when the calendar flips." I said. That was the deal. He exhaled. "Okay," he said. "I'll still be here." He moved his cart. The wheels squeaked. He grabbed another bag of peas. May Grandpa fell in the yard. Nothing broke. But his cane bent. He told me to stop looking like the sky would crush him. The ground said hello. He laughed. We replaced the cane. He refused one with a sword handle. "I'm not a pirate," he said. He asked if we had keys to the new place yet. We did. We took him to see it. He walked each room once. Slow. He touched the window frame in the kitchen. "Good bones," he said. "Houses lie less than people." We moved on a Saturday. Friends came. We paid them with pizza and beer and the promise of future favors. The binder rode in the front seat on my lap. Elena carried the locket around her neck. We set both on the mantel before the couch arrived. I drilled hooks for mugs. She hung her camera straps on a nail by the door. Ordinary triumphs. My favorite kind. The first night in the new house. I hung the paper calendar on a thumbtack in the hallway. Blue for work. Green for Elena shoots. Red for boundaries. I added a small blue underline under one square, 3 weeks out. Coffee, Mom. I wrote. Then I wrote porch only. Elena read over my shoulder and kissed the back of my neck. We'd earned porch rules. At the year mark, I met Tyler at the park where we'd fought. He brought 2 coffees and sat on the bench with his palms open. No hoodie. No team gear. He put his phone face down and didn't touch it. "I watched your wedding video," he said. Eyes on the pond. Aunt Denise sent it after I posted the apology. He swallowed. "You looked like a person I didn't meet until this year." "I look like the same person," I said. "You just stopped looking at your own reflection long enough to see me." He nodded. He took a breath. "I sent Mom away when she tried to workshop my apology." He said, "I wrote it myself. It took 3 tries." I saw. I said, "I didn't like the first 2. He smiled. "Short. Me neither." We walked a loop. Ducks fought. A kid in a red hat dropped a cracker and looked devastated. Tyler handed him a fresh one. The kid smiled, like forgiveness was simple. And maybe it is when the harm is small and the cracker is replaceable. Back home. I opened the trunk. I lifted the false floor. The binder lay there. Mustard yellow against black plastic. I carried it inside and set it on the new kitchen counter. I flipped it open. Money. The transfers filled 2 pages now. Messages. Fewer screenshots in the later sleeves. Smear. Static. Timeline. It ended with house. A date. And a checkmark. Terms. I slid in 2 new sheets, Mom's counseling sign-ins. Tyler's pinned video transcript. I didn't add commentary. The record could keep itself. That night, Dad came by with a toolbox and installed a deadbolt on the back door. He showed me how to chisel the mortise properly. He didn't lecture. He didn't overdo it. When he finished, he stepped back and smiled like a small, well-made thing can heal something larger. You learn to measure twice, he said. So you only have to say sorry once. After he left, Elena and I sat on the porch. Wind moved the maple leaves. Somewhere a neighbor laughed. Somewhere, a screen door thumped. I took the locket from the mantel and felt the scratch across it with my thumb. The scratch didn't make it broken. It made it ours. The calendar on the wall held its colors. Most days were blue. Some had green. A few were red. That felt honest. I pulled a pen from the mug blue and underlined next Sunday once. Dinner, Grandpa. I wrote. Then I underlined it again because I could. I used to think justice came like thunder. Then I found out it also comes like a pin that stays up for 30 days. A transfer memo that says month 8. A door that locks, and a door you decide to open anyway. And a binder you move from the trunk to a shelf, not because you'll never need it again, but because you finally don't need it to drive,